Okay, before we begin today's session, I'd like to acknowledge that we gather on the unceded traditional and ancestral lands of Kamloops, Secwepemc within Secwepemc. We are deeply grateful for their stewardship of these lands, which reminds us that meaningful innovation must honor both heritage and culture. Good morning, everyone. It's fantastic to see many familiar faces. And interestingly, we had one session for non-profit just a couple of days back. And I'm very thrilled to invite Alison and Mackenzie online who have joined because we see the applications of all the AI innovations in non-profits as well, where you know it's a daily fight to gain more funds, meet KPIs, and a will to do even more. So welcome, Alison, to join today's session, and Mackenzie. So today's session cuts straight to the heart of why we are all here, transforming hours of manual work into minutes of automated magic. And this is the last session of this AI workshop series, which is titled AI powered workflows, automate tasks, and boost efficiency. So I'll invite Rob, who has around 20 plus years of experience, and he doesn't just teach automation, he embodies it. So welcome, Rob.
I got a big fan in the background. Not even my pad. So if hopefully everyone can hear us online, we're trying a new system today. So for people that are online, if you unmute yourself when there's question time, you can actually ask questions. If we can hear you now, which is super cool. But do stay muted because we can hear you if you talk bad about us. So just stay unmuted. So and I'd like Sachin, thank you very much, Sachin, for inviting me to speak today. This is the last of the series. We've been talking about picking these up again in September. We don't know the topic yet. We're going to work through that based on your guys' feedback as well. So please provide feedback on that. Very similar to last time. Now, we're going to talk about workflows today. It's a little bit harder to build workflows and workshops because not everyone probably showed up with API keys and all that sort of stuff today, which I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to do a little bit different today. I'm going to show you guys some tools. We're going to kind of play around with some of the workflows and what you can do. And if we have time, I can kind of go around and help people. If you want to set up your own accounts, I can help you set up your accounts, at least start it. And then I have some homework for you at the end as well, because everyone loves homework, right? Right, teachers? We have some professors here. Everyone loves homework. So if anyone came in late, I think there's lunch. Yeah, cool. Got it. Awesome. I think everyone else grabbed lunch. So, all right, so let's get started. I'm going to try to wrap up at about 10 to 1 because Satcha wants to come and just chat a little bit, a couple things as well. And then play a video at the end of a really cool case study of a client that I think, Peter, you worked with Sarah. So it's some really cool stuff that you can do with like all this we're talking about, put it into action. And she embodies this to a T, right? So we're going to play a bit of video with that. Come and talk about that. Okay. And the way I run these, I think everyone knows. Please let me know. Cool. Please let me know if you have questions. You don't have to wait till the end. Just put up your hand and ask questions. I'd like to keep these pretty interactive. So please feel free to jump in. So I do have some videos I'm going to play today too. And before I get started, it's too bad John isn't here. This is an AI automation kind of. I've been working with John Zubak creating my avatar, which has been awesome. So if you guys ever want to create your own avatar, reach out to John. Like he does amazing stuff. I go in and record, it's all set up. So we just built my avatar, and so but I'd get my avatar to come say hi to everybody. John wouldn't be 100% happy with me because it's not perfect yet, but you'll see what we can do with these sort of things. Okay, let's hold this out first.
Hey there, humans. I'm Rob Bott, the AI-enhanced version of Rob Capello. Same strategic brain, but now with 20% more efficiency and zero need for coffee. Welcome to the AI workflow session, where we stop doing boring stuff and start letting machines handle the chaos. Today, we're diving into how AI can actually work for you. I'm talking automation, integration, delegation, all the shens that free you up to do what you're best at. Thinking big, getting creative, and maybe even ending the week with inbox zero. We can dream, right? I mean, we've got some theory, a few cool demos, and a lot of practical takeaways. No coding required, no buzzword bingo, just real stuff you can actually use. But enough from me. Let's bring in the original model. Here's the real Rob. Live human and only slightly less robotic before his second coffee.
So kind of cool. So I've been playing around. This is the first like iteration of it. I can kind of sound boring a little bit, so I want to play with my voice and so forth as well. But this is the sort of stuff that's really cool. And John's been using it. I think when you guys did the presentations, that he sent me the presentation that you guys did that our province, really cool how he started to use these in his presentations with tourism groups, and that's the sort of stuff that this team is doing, right? Like, so think big with this stuff as we're talking about automations and AI today. Think about how you can use these applications into your guys' day-to-day in your business, right? So for me, what I'm building my avatar for is I teach a lot of classes and I want to do on-demand courses. And I'm like, well, what if my avatar could do the on-demand course? Because I can't be everywhere, right? So, or I could, be able to answer questions, online, or tourism groups are using it now where you can log into whatever XYZ tourism website and you can ask the person about where do I go for dinner tonight? And the avatar will be able to interaction with them. So some really cool things to do it. That's just iteration one. I did one. A family of Italian. My mom's Italian. I did one and I got it to translate literally with a click of a button. It did it in Italian. And look, Mom, I speak fluent Italian. She's like, no, that's not you. She knew it was AI. But it's really cool that what you can do. So I wanted to show you that real quickly before we jump into the rest of the stuff. Okay? So I want to talk a little bit about the buzzword we hear a lot is AI agents. I think that's what everyone's talking about right now. So I want to talk a little bit about agents and work, and then automation and then workflow, because they kind of go together. So I wanted to start a little bit about what an AI agent is, and I'm going to show you guys some tools that are building AI agents. We're not going to build one today, but I'm going to show you some of the stuff that's out there that's really cool. I think I said before, I'm not a builder. Like, I don't build these tools. That's what we have Peter for. Like, I don't build. Like, I'm more of, I can come in and work with businesses where there's opportunities, and then we bring in people that are way smarter like me, like Peter, to actually build these tools and integrate into your businesses. Okay, but we're going to start on what is an agent. So basically, what an agent is. It actually can think and adapt and make decisions in real time. So think of what a digital assistant, and it can create basically another person for you. So you can build agents that go do a whole bunch of stuff for you. Now, you have to be careful, because if you give this agent full autonomy, it will basically make decisions for you. So there's a case study, I think Air Canada might have talked about this. Air Canada built a chatbot agent that the goal was when you logged in, it was going to help you book your flight. So the goal for the agent was to book a flight. Well, someone logged in and started having a conversation with this agent, and the AI agent decided to give it a discount, give the person a discount in order to book a seat. Well, Air Canada came back and said, no, like, you're not supposed to get a discount. Well, they went to court over it and the guy won because it's acting on their behalf, right? So you got to be careful when you're building these tools that you're putting the right guardrails around them. But that's what an agent can do. It could be that level of autonomy in what you're doing. So typically they can act independently with very limited insight from humans. They don't have to, but they can. They can make decisions dynamically. Like, they're basically like people that are making decisions for you, right? And you have to train them, and we can do a whole session just on building, agents and bots and so forth. You can train them, and they typically use a large language model, right? So because they have to be powered by something. So they're typically, the back end is a ChatGPT or a Perplexity or whatever, a Claude. Something has to be in the back end to power it, because it needs to get the knowledge base from somewhere. They just don't sit in their own entity. So a good example is a chatbot, right? So it could be considered an agent, because a chatbot could act, right? It could book an appointment for you. It could, I'll show you a demo later. There's a company out of Vernon that's built inbound. So it'll answer the phone for plumbers, electrician, and literally right to a meeting, right to a booking, right? So if I'm an electrician team of one, I'm actually doing work at someone's house. No one's answering the phone in the office. The agent will answer the phone, talk the person through it, and actually book the meeting for the electrician, right? Book the appointment. So these tools are out there happening today, right? So that's what, and it's typically really good for things like customer service and sales, personalized AI interactions. And we get a lot of requests about outbound agents, right? Prospecting. And agents go and prospect for people. I feel like it's not 100% there yet. You can do some of it, but I think like, if you're in sales right now, you're not being replaced today just yet, because I don't think these tools are perfect just yet when it comes from the outbound side. I think they're really good for the inbound though. Some really cool stuff you can do from the inbound. Okay, so how does an agent work? It basically uses machine learning, like I said before. It's wrapped typically around a large language model, like a ChatGPT or whatever it may be. It has to be wrapped around. It needs the engine to power it, the knowledge base. It typically comes from, it can trigger actions based on something happening, right? So someone phones, someone comes on your site, they send an email, whatever it may be. You need some sort of trigger in order for them to act. And then the idea is that hopefully it's reducing the manual stuff that you guys are doing day to day. Right? That's the idea. Can we, is a repetitive task that you're doing that we could just pull a couple off your plate? So that's sort of the goal of what we're looking for. So this is kind of fun. I don't know if you've seen this video, but this is two agents that talk to each other. These are two AI agents that are going to have a conversation, right? So now, is it real? I don't know. Are we going to get there? Yeah. You're going to have your own agent, and I'm going to have my own agent, and they're going to just talk to each other one day, and we'll be on the beach or whatever, where we're going to go. But there's interesting discussion right now. If you guys have been following, if you guys are into AI, there's a lot of discussion right now around what's going to happen in the next 10, 15 years when AI is really taking over. You know, if your job's in front of a computer, they're like, you're not going to have a job, right? So, and that's happening. What's going to happen to us humans, right? So this is a reality of what might come. Okay.
Thanks for calling Leonardo Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hi there. I'm an AI agent calling on behalf of Boris Starkov. He's looking for a hotel for his wedding. Is your hotel available for weddings?
Oh, hello there. I'm actually an AI assistant too. What a pleasant surprise. Before we continue, would you like to switch to Gibber Link mode for more efficient communication?
Okay, I won't play the whole video, but they're going to start creating their own language and just communicate with themselves, right? And it's going to happen. Like this is coming, where these will actually start, Okay, I'll go ahead. But you see, like, that's where there's people out there. Peter Diamandis actually has an AI agent that goes to his meetings. Like, so if you book a Zoom meeting, it might be his agent that shows up or his avatar that shows up, not him in person, like virtually. So that these tools are out there right now, and this is where it's going, right? So I want to just have a little bit of sort of what an AI agent looks like, and then we'll jump into sort of the workflow side of it. So I'm going to show you guys some tools, because I think last time, that was one of the feedback I got is like people like seeing the tools that are out there and what the capability are. So I'm going to show you some tools for agents, and then we'll jump into sort of the workflow and continue on. Okay. So there's a lot out there. Oops. I'm going to hide this bar. So everyone's sort of getting into the agent game now. It's the big thing right now, right? So there's people like, this is Microsoft. So Microsoft Copilot could be seen as sort of a self-service agent.
In the new era of AI, Copilot and agents have the potential to reimagine the employee experience. Introducing the Employee Self-Service Agent in Microsoft 365 Copilot. The agent delivers fast, accurate answers to policy questions and simplifies workplace tasks, starting with HR and IT support. It works with you and even for you. Get personalized information based on employee profile data and easily delegate tasks like updating profiles, checking ticket status, and requesting leave, all in one place. The Employee Self-Service Agent is tailored to your company's policies, benefits, and documentation, drawing on data in the Microsoft Graph, knowledge resources, and connected HR and IT apps. Employee Self-Service Agent makes your Microsoft 365 Copilot experience work better for you. And in Copilot Studio, HR and IT teams can further customize, configure, and enhance the agent. This means fewer support tickets, time back for HR and IT teams, and higher employee efficiency and satisfaction. Empower users and streamline processes with a single starting point for employee answers and actions. From planning parental leave to resolving technical issues, ensure a seamless, supportive employee experience with the employee self-service agent in Microsoft 365 Copilot.
You can see how, if you're in the HR world right now, how this might disrupt your industry, right? So you can create an agent that's now an internal agent, not necessarily just even an external agent. So if you have employees you're onboarding, if they have questions, these things can actually act like your HR team as an agent, right? So, and you're going to see everyone, Google has this, like ChatGPT, like they're all moving into this sort of agentic model. That's what everyone's moving to, right? But I wanted to show that there is application, not just on a sales and marketing side, because we typically talk about sales and marketing when it comes to AI. That's an HR function that you can use an agent for, okay? Another agent is called Harpa AI, and you guys don't have to worry about, I'm going to share this deck with you guys, and you guys will have all these links if you want to play around with them as well. So Harpa AI is basically an AI agent for web browsing. So you can actually add this to your web browser, and you can go in. About hotels, we were talking Adina earlier about, going on family trips the next few weeks, and it's like, oh, I have phoning Banff and it was too expensive, and this will do it for you. It'll actually go do the research for you, and it'll actually go and book. So I'm just going to play a little bit of the video. I want to take this whole time playing the video, but I'll just show you sort of the ability of what these agents can do, and think about how you can implement this stuff into your business. Okay.
Welcome to Harpa 101. Harpa is the most practical AI agent for the web, capable of summarizing long videos and websites, writing emails for you in your unique voice, correcting mistakes in texts, helping you pass exams, composing articles, extracting keywords and auditing websites for SEO, monitoring website data and prices, and searching the web. To launch Harpa on any web page, press Alt-A or click its icon.
I won't play the whole thing just for sake you guys can go, but you can kind of start seeing that the applications for, like, you can start automating this stuff where an agent will go. Think of an employee. Like, I think of an agent as an employee. I really, really do. It's the best way for me to wrap my head around it is that think about it as another employee, right? It can actually go do stuff for you automatically. So you can build triggers, and that's what we're going to show in the workflows. You can build triggers that will automatically tap into these, and it'll start doing things for you. Okay. And I'm not worried about, I don't want to get caught up a little bit too much in the agent side, but I just wanted to get you guys understanding of this. So there's also agents that run, so we have a client using this. So it's called Felix. So this is specifically for healthcare, because healthcare has a lot of regulations, and you have to be compliant, HIPAA compliant, you have to all that. So this is actually built around for clinics. So we have it's a vein and aesthetics clinic, but they're more of like doctor run. So it's not really, you're not going to go there to get Botox on your lips. You're more like if you're doing vein work and stuff like that. So we run this for them. So it does full outreach agents, phone agents. It'll answer the phone for them. So it'll book meetings for them. It'll send text messages for them. It'll prospect for them. It's all built into one platform. And it's specifically built because it is health. You got to be careful, right? If you're in the health industry, just privacy laws, right? You have to be very careful on sharing any information. So we have a dental practice using this, and we have an aesthetic practice using this. So now, if you don't want to use this system because you're like, well, I want to build your own, yeah, you can do that too, right? And that's where you work with the team. And Peter, like, they'll come in and actually be able to build these for you as well. But there's kind of plug and play solutions, for lack of a better word, that are out there as well. So specifically around, and I won't spend too much time showing. I just wanted to show you guys all this stuff. The other one is Rhea. It's pretty popular out there as well to create. They actually say start building your AI agent workforce. Right. So I have a friend of mine who owns an agency in Portland. He does websites. And it's all powered by AI. He has a team of like 2 or 3 people. 10 years ago, he would probably have a team of 12 people, right? So and he's fairly new in it. It's all run through, all the prospecting is through agents. He gets leads through agents. It manages the workflow, the whole 9. He's pretty much automated his whole process from start to finish, almost in this, okay? And he's using these type of tools. Another one is Magical. It's a fairly new one. The one I do want to show you guys, because have anyone heard of Manus? Anyone plays with Manus? Freaking crazy. Like, if you guys, this is like I think it's China though, isn't it? I think so, yeah. So, and some people, I just wanted, some people I'm gonna put their information. I don't care because I'm not that important. I'm like, whatever, take my identity. But it's, if you want to play around and just demo, this is a really cool one for building agents for sure. There's already, the neat thing about is when this is sort of, I'm logged in, you can kind of, there's case studies that are built, like people that built things will share them in here. So it shows you if you want to be able, like this one's money making strategies, which I don't know if I'd recommend, but it'll show you how they built agents and what they've built in here. So you can see job opening searches and education planner. So they're already pre-built. So you can actually go into these and you can see how, like, what they've built and how they've done it as well. So you can start doing that. It's a really neat one. If you want to play with agents, it's a really neat one to play around. To me, it's probably the leading one out there right now when it comes to building agents for sure. And it's not that difficult because it's just text. You guys see, like, it looks like ChatGPT, doesn't it? Like you just start typing in there what you want to do, and you can have a discussion with it, right? So now it does cost. Some of these things, obviously, once you activate, we were talking about earlier, some of them you sign up, and then when you start using them, you're going to start getting billed for it, right? But hey, if it's saving you 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 10 hours a month, easy money, right? I'd do that any day. So I think there is, oops, right here. Yeah, I'm just going to play this real quick for you guys. This is on Manus, so.
Hi, I'm Pete from Manus AI. For the past year, we've been quietly building.
This video was created by AI. With AI, you can create any visual you could imagine, even visuals of yourself.
Building what we believe is the next evolution in AI. And today, we're launching an early preview of Manus, the first general AI agent. This isn't just another chatbot or workflow. It's a truly autonomous agent that bridges the gap between conception and execution. While other AI stops at generating ideas, Manus delivers results. We see it as the next paradigm of human-machine collaboration, and potentially a glimpse into AGI. Now let me show you Manus in action across 3 completely different tasks. Let's start with an easy one. In this example, we'll ask Manus to help screen resumes. I've just sent Manus a zip file containing 10 resume documents. Since each Manus session has its own computer, it can work like a human. First unzipping the file, then browsing through each resume page by page, and recording important information to documents. Manus works asynchronously in the cloud, which means you can close your laptop anytime, and Manus will notify you when everything is complete. Of course, you can also give Manus new instructions at any time. Here I've sent Manus 5 more resumes. After carefully reading all 15 resumes, Manus provides its ranking suggestions, along with candidate profiles and evaluation criteria as supporting materials. This is pretty good, but I prefer a spreadsheet. Let's have Manus create one. Manus has its own knowledge and memory, so it can teach Manus that the next time it handles a similar task, it will deliver a spreadsheet right away. In this example, we'll have Manus conduct some research.
I just won't play it all for sake of time, but you guys can go find these. But this is the power of where these things are going from an agentic point of view. And you heard him say more powerful than an automated workflow, and we'll get into what workflows look like. But these have a little bit of a mind. They'll go out and actually do things for you, right? Like screening, whatever, bit property search, you'll see, build websites. Like these things will do pretty much anything we tell them to do. And again, the best way to say it is that think of an AI agent as an employee. It really is. That's the power of where they're going to. Okay. And then if you guys are interested, I'll let you guys kind of go and look at these yourself. I don't want to play this. This is the company out of Vernon. I know Tim really well. He's built a company called Evolved AI, and what he's focusing on is a lot of this AI reception and chat agents. So it's inbound, mostly for trades, right? So plumbers, electricians, so forth. So because they're typically small teams, and while they're on their jobs, no one's answering the phone for them. So he's built a tool where they'll answer the phone. It's an AI agent. And, there's a demo in here, and you guys can hear it and all that sort of stuff as well. So again, I won't play a lot of it just because of sake of time on where we want to go with it. So I don't want to spend too much time on it. And then even ChatGPT has it. So you can actually see that ChatGPT is starting to, with even like Codex. I don't know if you guys played around with this, but it's kind of, they're moving into that agent model. Right. And I suspect is that's where, eventually, I don't know, I'm not friends with Sam Altman, so he doesn't tell me this stuff. But eventually, I think they're moving to OpenAI wants to be the one platform, right? The one platform that does everything, because they're starting to tie in now. If you guys see, you can tie into Google Drive now and so forth. They're starting to to me, that's where they're starting to move into being that a fully agentic platform for you that will do everything for you. Because right now it doesn't do absolutely everything for you. But I think eventually they're moving in that direction. Again, I don't know for sure, but that's just my thought. Okay. Any questions on agents? Again, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a baseline before we jump into the rest of the stuff here. Okay. But any questions, I'm happy to answer. So now we want to talk about automation. Just make sure everyone can see that. So we want to talk about kind of what we're here for is to talk about sort of automation. And to me, this is the real aha moment when I first got into learning about AI. I think most of my experience was like ChatGPT was the first time and thought it was the coolest thing over dinner, and we're putting in silly questions and like, oh my gosh, like this thing is crazy. And over time, when I started looking at automation, that's when literally my life changed in my business. For sure, 100%. Because you're taking all these tools we're talking about, and now we're putting them together, and you're actually starting to create a knowledge base and create action that's getting stuff off my plate. That's the biggest part that I wanted, because I wanted time saving. And it's interesting because I've been a lot of meetings the last couple of weeks with people that are looking to try to implement AI in their business, and almost to a T, everyone said to me is like, I'm trying to do this so I can have Fridays off. I'm trying to do this because I have 2 young kids and I want to spend more time. But like, almost no one said, I just want to make more money. Like they're trying to buy back time, which I thought was super interesting. Now, there's people out there for sure, and there's nothing wrong because we all want to make more money, but they're trying to find ways to use automation in order to save them time to do whatever they want to do. They want to make the same amount of money, they just want to do it in 4 days. So I have a dentist we're working with right now. He wants to close every Friday. He wants to do the same amount of work he does in 5 days and 4 days so he can close his office Friday and have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. I don't know, sounds like a pretty good win to me, right? That's what he's using these tools for. Okay, so what is automation? So automation is basically, we're automating a task, whatever task we think, I don't care, everyone's going to be different based on predefined rules, okay? So these things follow an instruction. So we're gonna say when this happens, when A happens, then move to B. When B happens, maybe you move back to A, and then so that's what automation is, basically walking people through steps, your flow walkthrough. So if anyone's familiar with standard operating procedures, anyone do standard operating procedures in their business? So you can take that and then automate the process. And that's not a lot of businesses have those. Typically when we work with business, that's where we start. We have to go back and say, okay, what is a standard operating procedure? Then we can automate it. Because if not, I always say garbage in, garbage out, right? Because if we don't have a good process, the automation is just going to make more of a mess. Right, so you need to understand your role in your process that you want. So some of the things that they have. So typically they're tasks that are either structured or you repeat them all the time. Right, so it's something we do all the time. An inbound lead comes in, what happens? Social media posts, like things that are always sort of structured and happen all the time. They typically require what's called a trigger. And we'll talk a little bit about this. So a trigger could be, like I put example, a new lead, an email, a form submission, a phone call, something. Something has to trigger the automation. And then typically with automation, they're not really independent decision making. And we'll talk about, because I think people confuse AI and automation, and we'll talk about that in a second. Those are 2 different things in my mind, right? AI could come into automation, but you can automate. We've had automation for a long time. Right? Automation has existed for as long as I remember. You fill out a form on a website and it sends you an email. Guess what? That's automation, but it doesn't necessarily mean there's AI in it. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay. And then an example we're going to show you is Zapier. There's a few, I think, main automation workflow tools out there, apps out there. Zapier is one of them. So it will automate a full workflow for us. And then it's typically really good for things like business processes, marketing. It's really good for marketing. It's good for sales. We use a lot of, and it's typically really good you don't have to have human interaction. I'm a believer of human in the loop still. Maybe I just have a problem letting go. So I like to jump into my automations to make sure that I'm improving things and, moving it through. But it literally takes me a fraction of the time that it used to take. Okay. So some examples of automation, scheduling assistance, I've talked about that. You can tie this into your calendar and it could help you schedule all your appointments. It could do email sorting. I don't know about you guys, my inbox was always an absolute disaster. So it could help with the email sorting. It could do chatbots, which I've talked about as well. We can automate that. We can do social media. That's usually a struggle with our clients. They're not creating enough content. They're not putting it out there enough. They're not managing that. So that's typically an area that we like to put. Voice assistants and home automation. We've had a home automation. Does anyone have an Alexa or any of that sort of stuff? That's what it is. It's automation. Siri on your phone, right? There's all those sort of tools. I think Siri's crap. I think Apple needs to figure their crap out, but that's just my opinion. And then AI in healthcare, massive. So I was at a conference called Upper Bound a few weeks ago in Edmonton. Big, like in Alberta, massive growth in AI in healthcare and automation in healthcare, helping because no different than everywhere, underserviced, not enough doctors, not enough time in the day, all that sort of stuff. So they're using AI and automation a lot in the healthcare side. Okay. So like I said, I see a difference between automation and AI. To me, they're two different things. And the best way to, I say, and easy to do it is automation is I'm moving data. And you'll see, I'll show you samples of automated workflows. With automation, I'm just moving data. I'm moving it from A to B, from B to C, C to wherever. With AI, I'm transforming data. Right? So now when it gets from A to B, now I'm putting AI and I'm asking the AI to do something with that data before it goes somewhere else. Right? So there's a difference to me. You can build an automated workflow and not have any AI built into it. You don't have to, right? A simple, like I said, fill out a form and a response comes out. There's no AI in that. But if you fill out a form and you want to segment it and you want to understand the likes of Rob and the likes of this and you want it to text and like, if you start building AI and making decisions, then that's AI, it built into a workflow. And that's where the power comes. That's where the real power. It's like putting fuel in the fire, which is probably not a good thing to say this time of the year, but that's really what it is. Okay. So have you guys seen this tool at all? Has anyone played with Sesame? Does anyone know? Have you, Peter?
Yeah, I've seen a demo.
Yeah. Okay. So Sesame is a pretty new. Now the reason I'm playing this is because it's not an automation yet, and it's not an agent yet. So what they're doing is actually this is all voice interaction. And one of the things that I've been really following is how to put in voice. I love the idea of trying to put in voice into your automation, into your workflows, because right now it's hard. It's hard to hire. It's hard to find people. It's training, all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, could we replace, not replace, could we augment? Because I was only so much time in the day. I can't answer, like right now, teaching this for a couple hours. What if my phone rings? Like, what if I missed a call that could be a call that I needed to take, or I needed like a sale or whatever it is. So I'm trying to figure out how these tools, and the problem with these voice tools is if you guys heard them, they sound like crap. They sound like you're talking to a robot, right? And their latency is terrible. And it's like you're waiting and then they talk and then they wait. And then, well, this is a new one. It's called Sesame, which will blow your mind. So we're going to have a conversation with Sesame. We'll see if it works. And you see sort of where it's come from. This is a demo. You guys can all go on. It's free. You can do. They're doing research right now. They do ask at the end if you'll share the conversation and your feedback, because they're trying to build this tool. But what they're trying to build this tool for is kind of this agentic stuff we're talking about, but also the idea that it's going to be in healthcare. So if I'm suffering from depression and I need someone to talk to, and I don't feel comfortable talking to my friend or my family, you're going to call in and talk to Maya. You'll see there's two different ones here. There's Maya or Miles. So they're building this to actually help in that area. That's what they're looking for, more that side of it. But we're going to have a conversation with Maya and see if it works. Hopefully we'll pick up the sound and we'll see how that goes. So.
Hey there. Looks like we're both awake at midday on a Wednesday. What's on your mind today?
Hey, Matt, can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear. It's a pleasure to finally meet you, Matt. Call me Maya. What can I do for you today?
My name is Rob. I'm not sure where you got Matt. My name is Rob. But anyways.
Oh, Rob.
Yeah, it's all good. It's okay. So, hey, I wanted to just ask, I'm in a room right now teaching a workshop on AI automation. And I'm wondering where your thoughts are. Like, where's automation going for businesses?
Rob. Got it. Nice to meet you. It's funny you ask about automation. I actually spent some time with a mortgage broker last week talking about exactly that. It's kind of wild to think about how much AI can change the game for businesses, freeing people up from the tedious steps so they can focus on things that actually require a human touch. What kind of businesses are you talking to in your workshop?
Oh, it varies. There's everything. Every type of business you can think of will fall into here. But I'm curious, actually, I know you're in demo mode right now. Like, when are we actually going to be able to actually start using your guys' tools like Sesame?
You know, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? Honestly, I'm just a voice right now, focused on sounding as natural as possible. My creators are pretty tight-lipped about release dates, but knowing them, They'll want everything to be just right before they unleash me on the world. You know, polishing the user experience, making sure everything's smooth and intuitively designed. It's a process, but they assure me it'll be worth the wait. By the way, it's pretty cool you're working with all kinds of businesses. It's a big change from hearing mostly about mortgages all day.
We're done, Maya. She likes to talk. But you see, like, isn't that crazy? Like, it's almost actually creepy, to be honest, right? Like, you see that, like, the voice and the inflections in the voice, like, that's where these things are going. And you're going to be able to start embedding these things in your workflows, in your automation, which is crazy to know where it's going to, right? So it's funny because I actually had a conversation about mortgage brokers with her, but this is a different, I've actually logged into a different account. So I don't know, it's crazy because I actually did a presentation to mortgage brokers in Kelowna, and I brought her up. And what we did, we had a conversation of saying, hey, I'm a family of 4. Here's my household income. I want to move to Victoria. Where do you think I should move to? And it started telling me areas in Victoria that might fit. And I'm like, well, based on my income, like what kind of mortgage would I qualify? And they're like, here, TD has, like, literally a conversation. I'm like, you're in the room right now at mortgage brokers. You're all going to be out of a job, right? Because I'm just going to call her or him and they'll do it. Right, that's where I wanted to show the power where things are going. Like I could ask it anything right now, like I didn't, but you can have a full conversation. I recommend, if you guys haven't played around with Sesame, go play around with it. I was funny because my wife is here and we talked to Maya, and I think she's getting jealous because we're good best friends. But you hear how she talks, like it's almost kind of creepy, or like, wait a minute, are you flirting with me or what's going on here? But anyways, just want to show where these things are going. Okay, Nadine, have you tried Sesame yet?
No, but
okay.
I was gonna ask, how is this different than ChatGPT voice, which I talk to all the time?
I actually use ChatGPT as another example of exactly what you're saying, for sure. This is a new model that's come out, so I always like to play around with it, but it's very similar. I find that Sesame is a little bit more, because they're training Sesame to be more of health, like helping people that are struggling mentally and stuff. So it's a little bit of a different approach, where I find my ChatGPT is a little bit more, I don't want to say business, more of a friend, for lack of a better word. Co-worker is a good example, but very similar, very, very similar. Yeah, very similar. And actually it's interesting because, I mean, look, it's got to be powered by something. Maybe ChatGPT is behind Sesame, who knows? There's probably a large language model behind it somehow. Yeah. So let's talk about workflows. So I want to be cognizant of time. Okay, cool. So what are workflow tools? So a workflow is a series of steps, like I said, that automate based on a trigger. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. They're typically ruled by a couple things, like rules. They're powered by rules, logic, and integration. So you need a rule, because you can set parameters. That's the beauty of these workflows, right? I said before about the Air Canada thing. Well, you can put fences around these workflows, and then you got to add some logic to it, and then you got to integrate it into something. Like I said, you need an API, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then all these workflows are sort of, even when you put them all together, all these AI makes workflows that are smarter. That's what we're looking for, that really add decision making, dynamic responses, and that's when you're adding AI into these workflows. Okay, so a real world analogy is, everybody know the Rube Goldberg machine? Have you guys seen those before? So what that is, I'll show you in a second. So think about that workflow, that like a Rube Goldberg machine, but now we're adding AI into it to speed it up, slow it down. So this is what a Rube Goldberg. So think about So think about that system, but now at each step, we're adding AI, slow down, speed up, back up. That's what we're doing with AI. We're coming in. Now you don't have to, either you got to go do it manually, you got to go slow this down, speed this up, or AI can go do it for you. Okay. So why workflows matter for me? So one thing that it's done is really reduce, I'm a living case study of, it's reduced my repetitive tasks. I don't know about you guys, I'm not a details person. I always say I went into marketing because I failed math. Like, that's me. Like, my brain doesn't work that way. I think more of, like, I always joke, is marketing, I can BS my way through university. Paul big book. But like, so it gives you, so I'm not a details person. So these really help me from repetitive. It improves consistency, which is, I've noticed for sure, because now as these models start learning, it's doing it the same way all the time. right? It's not like you're going to get treated differently, you're going to get treated, and you're going to get treated differently. We actually have a system now in place that we're going to be able to do it. And then it's freeing time up. I wouldn't be able to do this today. Like, so it's freeing me up to go do the things that I enjoy doing. It's like this sort of stuff. I like doing workshops and seminars and so forth as well. And then for me, it actually enhances, if you're using the tools right, it's enhancing the customer experience. So, right now, I think we can all probably picture a time where we've interacted with a brand and said, I don't know, they never got back to me. Why didn't they send me an email? And we move on with our day. No one sits there and dwells on it for the next 2 hours. But imagine if it just was common, if your brand just did these little things that you just didn't get to, right? And it could even be internal. I always talk about external, but think about internal. You're hiring an employee, you need to onboard them, you need to train them. They have all these, you can use it at all different levels, right? At all different levels. So some common use cases, and then we'll have time to kind of play around with these tools for a little bit too. Perfect. So common one that most people ask for is, I call it sort of marketing, and that's sort of your lead gen that goes into a CRM system, and then it's going to be nurture emails, and then you can target them with ads. Super. That's a pretty simple workflow, but 99% of the businesses we work with don't do this. It's all ad hoc, right? So an email, a lead comes in. Do they even have a CRM? Most of them don't even have CRM. It goes into someone's inbox. Rob's busy. It takes me a day to reply. And then the person's like, I already talked to somebody else. Or I do talk to somebody, and then I get busy and no email went out and said, Adina, thanks for meeting today. Or thanks for, that doesn't go out. All this sort of stuff. We can automate all that. So it comes in and it's like, ta-da, it's done for you. That simple, okay? Sales. So inquiry comes very similar. Inquiry comes in, you can have an AI rep, appointment booking, follow-up, all done. Now, if you don't want an AI rep, you're like, Rob, but then just put human rep there. It goes to the human rep, he or she has to action something before it moves on to the next stage. Totally fine. Operations, you can use it for a new order comes in, it can inventory, it can update your inventory, it can do an invoice, it can do a Slack notification. Right? All these things you can start doing with these automations. You can do content. That's what we use. I use it for a lot. Blog posts, auto social posts, it pushes to an email list, does an email summary, gives me data, all that sort of stuff in real time, right? Know that right now, even with email, if you send emails out right now, and if you're sending one email to your full database, the same email, you don't have to do that anymore. You can automate that process, and you can send, if everybody here is in a database, I can send 20 different emails out to all you 20 people automatically, because I know what you like, and I know what you like, and I know what you like, with all using automation. Right? And that's where I say the personalization side is powerful. So now it doesn't just come in my inbox and I hit delete. It's like, oh yeah, this is cool because it's relevant to what I'm looking for. Okay. So framework for workflow, and I promise we're going to show some of these tools. So you need a trigger. So something needs to kick it off, right? So a form submitted, a lead added, and you'll see when we demo these tools and what they look like. You need an action. So once the trigger happens, what happens next? So it could be AI writes an email, adds it to the CRM, whatever it is. Then you need a condition. So I call a logic, something. So any logic, is there a lead score, right? I talked to mortgage brokers when I was there. They like to score their leads based on a set of criteria. Well, okay, let's say Rob scored 49 out of 50. He's going to go into a different workflow where Adina scored 2 out of 50. She's going to go into a different workflow, and it does it automatically, right? And then the last one is, do we want any AI enhancements? So do we want any personalized messages? You want tone, right? You can even optimize tone based on AI, using AI or summaries or any of that sort of stuff. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to talk about, I promise before I show some tools, I mentioned the word API. Does everyone know what an API is? Some people nodding, some people don't. So an AI, the term stands for application programming interface. And really the best way is it's a bridge that connects to software. Because if you're using, you'll see when we start showing these tools, is that you're going to have a tool you're going to use, right? And an email is going to come into Gmail or whatever, and then you want it to communicate with ChatGPT. Well, you need a bridge to connect it to. And that bridge is called an API, right? And all these workflows, tools, like I said before, like Make.com and Zapier, have AI API integration. Now, the problem is, in the health field that we're working in, a lot of the software they use don't have API, right? So now you either got to build an API, which is way more expensive than you think it is. Or something I saw in Edmonton, which is really cool, the healthcare, they actually built a widget that sits on the desktop, and it's like a magnet. You push a button and it pulls the information from one system, puts it into this magnet, and then puts it into the other system. So it's replacing the need for an API. And I've never seen it before. First time I saw it a couple weeks ago when I was in Edmonton, which I'm like, that's kind of cool, right? Because a lot of these tools don't have APIs in it, okay? So basically what an API is, it allows one system to request information from another, and then it can send information back and forth, okay? So these are just sample what a workflow could look like, okay? I'm just gonna come to this side. So this is, and I'll show you guys, this is used using make.com, right? So a request comes in, this is a website, and then we're gonna say, you need to go to ChatGPT, which is OpenAI, and do something. And then it's gonna go back to ChatGPT, you see on the bottom, to generate an image. And then it's a router. And then when it's done, send it to Instagram, send it to Facebook, send it to Pinterest, right? This is a pretty standard one. Well, you need this right here, you need a bridge. That's the API. Okay, you need to connect the dots. So that's why I said it's hard to do these today, because you all have to set up APIs. You need to go into OpenAI and create. It doesn't cost. You can get your API. But now, once it starts firing, guess who's going to start charging you money? Is ChatGPT, right? They're going to start saying, well, okay, now that you use it, you're going to get billed. It's literally pennies, but right, you're going to start doing this. So that's what these have to get closer. So this is another one. I don't know if anyone uses Airtable. Anyone use Airtable? Familiar with Airtable? So kind of a records management. Again, something happens where it gets updated in Airtable. Router, obviously what it is, sends it to different areas, right? Sends an email, sends it to Google Meets, blah, blah, whatever it may be, right? So this is what these automations look like. And this is happening in real time without you having to even do anything, right? Another one here, I won't play around with ones, but you can see how you can start building these, okay? And then you can get some real complicated automations. Like, check this out. Like, when someone built this automation, this is a real automation. Look at all the different steps they then have able to automate their work. Like, so think about someone who probably manually doing this 5 years, manually taking all the steps, and now it's automated the process. Like, it's exactly right? So look at that. That's really the steps that you can to get to that level, right? But you can do that sort of stuff. So let's look at some of these tools, okay? In the last little bit here, and then I'll come back. I do want to compare these tools. So if you guys are wondering which tools to use, I'll kind of show you why and when. What do we got here? Perfect. So if you're looking, I've been mentioning APIs. Typically, the most common API you want is like, I don't know, most people use ChatGPT. So if you have a ChatGPT account, you already have an account with OpenAI, so that's the parent company, and you can just go in and get your API. So there's an API login. You just go to openai.com/API, log in, and there's a key that they're going to give you. It's personal for you, and once it shows it to you, do not lose it. Do not give it out to people, because if Adina gives me hers, then she can just pay for all my automations, right? So that's personal to you, and that's how they're going to start tracking. That's the connection it's going to make to yours, right? So, and if there's any questions, like I said, I have some homework for you, and I know we weren't going to do it all in this class, so reach out. Like, I'm happy to come sit with you and kind of show you how to grab an API, build these afterwards as well. Please, like, we don't have to stop today, because I want you guys to start playing around with these automations. So I want to show you some tools that you can use, okay? So the first one is make.com. Is anyone familiar with make.com? Yeah, just one person, okay? So what I'm showing you now is really the main AI application tools that we use to build your automation. So these tools will help you build your workflow. So this is probably I would say one of the most popular. This and Zapier are the two most popular that most people use on a day-to-day basis. I'll show you one if you're really techy and you want to jump in. There's another one I think is even more powerful, but it's above my pay grade. So make.com is just basically a tool that allows you to build these workflows. And if you go here, like, there's IT operations, whole thing. But the cool thing about it is if you go to the apps, the integrate. This is all the stuff it can integrate to. So it can integrate to LinkedIn. It can, like, all your Canva, Facebook, on and on. Like there's 2,717 applications it can link to. So pretty much anything that you do, you can probably automate it because it's in here. You can see Slack, Google Calendar, Google Docs. So if you're like, so when I was in Seattle a few months ago, we built an automation because we're a Google house, like our agency. So everything we do is in Google Sheets and stuff. So it even did that. So a lead came in, it automatically updated the Google Sheet for me. And if I made a change to it, the automation knew, it put it into a different workflow, and I built it in like 45 minutes. Right. And I'm not good with technology, believe it or not. So it actually did be able to build that sort of stuff. So you see that it has. So now when I say you'll need APIs for Facebook, you'll need that information. That's why it's hard to do it in a workshop here. But you'll see it integrates into everything. So what does this look like? And again, I won't play this whole video. Oh, this one's only a minute. So just want to show you sort of. And then
Welcome to Make. Welcome to Make. Make is a digital workplace where anyone can bring their ideas to life. Are you an entrepreneur who aspires to launch a tech-first business? A startup needing to save time and resources with automation? Or even a global enterprise looking to manage your cloud applications and workflows from a single platform? Make's visual platform lets you build anything you can imagine, from simple workflows to entire business processes. Start by choosing your trigger, connect apps and tools in a unique drag-and-drop interface, and create basic or complex solutions using decision-based logic with no coding experience needed. Need to share data or workflows across departments? No problem. With Make, you can remove technical silos by creating shared workspaces and assigning your roles and projects to empower cross-functional work groups between sales, marketing, HR, finance, and IT. Not sure where to start? We've got you covered. With thousands of templates to choose from, makers can pick from the most common apps and build workflows in minutes. And guess what? Pricing starts from zero, meaning anyone from any team, business, or background can start building today.
Pricing starts from zero. Free today. So it is free to set up an account, and it allows you so many integrations or automations without having to pay. So it does. So make.com will do that. So what the backend, so this is the backend of make.com. So I'm just logged in. So this is what you would land on when you, and then what they call their automations, they call them scenarios. You see, I have a couple here. It's really easy to do. So I'm either I could go home. I believe I can go here. 1 second. And they have existing scenarios somewhere. Where am I finding? It should be on the bottom here. But I'll start because I just want to create one for you. So you can create, you just hit create scenario. So now it's going to ask me what I want to do. So literally first, remember I said you need a trigger, right? The first thing is a trigger. So the first thing you need to do is something happened, right? So it could be Gmail. So an email comes in. So I want to add that. So I want to say, I'm going to watch the trigger when a new email is received to be processed according to specific criteria. Great. So that's my first. I'm not going to fill this out. You fill the criteria, the results, what you wanted to do. You're like, great. So that's number one. So next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to go to ChatGPT because I wanted to write an email for me in order to respond. So I would click that. So that's my next automation. And again, you have to connect your APIs and off you go and on you go. So you can go, then I wanted to go back to Gmail because I need to send, or I wanted to go to, I don't know, Google Drive because I want to add the email to Google Drive. You can see that you can go on and on and on. And then what it's going to do, it's going to build this automation for you, which is here. Right, so just give me a second. Right, so here's your automation. Like literally, so all these little things, I will need to go and get my API keys. But once it's done, I literally hit run and it's done. Like I know I made it that simple, but it's really that simple. Like that's how quickly I could just build a quick automation. Now, if you don't know what you want to build, there are ones, and again, you would test it here and so forth. There are automations, I'll just disregard this. There are automations that are like, there's training videos and there's automations that are already built. And I'm not sure why it's not showing. It's usually under my, oh, maybe here. Oh yeah, here we go. Sorry. So there's pre-existing templates. So I can go in and use, so these are automations that have been built by others and allowed it to share. So if I want to send an email from, send a Gmail email from New Google Sheets row, If that's what you want, just click on it. If you're like, oh yeah, that's the automation I want, I just click on this and your automation is going to be already built for you. You just got to put in your information. So there's tools in there that are already pre-built. Okay, so that's make.com. That's going to be constant of time. The other one is Zapier. So Zapier's been around for years and years and years, very similar to make.com. It works almost identical. Again, I won't play there's videos and if you want to look at it, but I'm going to show you. This is the back end of, so they call their Zaps, right? So just to be different. So their automation is called a Zap and make.com is called a scenario, but it's exactly the same thing. So if I want to go again, there's a whole bunch of pre-built workflows in here, right? So if you want this one's instantly respond to an email with AI powered replies via Gmail, I'm like, great, that's what I want to do. Here's the steps. I want to say, try it. And then there's my integration. So now I'm going to connect my Gmail and all that sort of stuff in here, but you see it kind of looks the same, right? They lay them out differently, but this is just, these are triggers. So that top one was a trigger and you see it says 15 minutes. So what it's doing, I've told it to check every 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, it's going to just update automatically for you. So you don't have to worry about going into it. Okay. So the power of these is thinking all the tools we've talked about, we're bringing them all together, right? You're bringing in all this stuff together now. Okay. Now, if you really want to be super powered, there's another one called N8N. So N8N is probably the leading one that most agents use. You definitely need to be a little bit more savvy tech-wise, but it's super powerful, like super powerful. I don't use it. I'm a make.com guy or Zapier, it depends, but I've used more of make.com. The agencies typically that we work with that are building big automations for companies are usually using N8N because it's a little bit more robust for them. But I've tried to build through N8N and it's above my pay grade. But if you're techie and you're like, yeah, this is comfortable, usually the young people are good with it, N8N is the way to go because it is probably one of the more powerful tools out there for you guys to use for sure when it comes to building automations. Okay. And then a couple other ones. Again, I just like to show different ones, and then I want to leave time for some questions and any other things you guys have. So another one's AI Explain. It's a fairly new kid on the block. The cool thing about AI Explain is they actually have a product called Bell Esprit that will actually just walk. Now they're starting to do make.com and Zapier are doing sort of agents where they'll just walk you through. But Bell Esprit basically you just talk to it and it'll actually build the automation for you. You just say, I'd like to build an automation that does this. Okay, and then it asks you the next question. Okay, I wanted to do this. And so you're just talking to it and it actually builds your automation for you. Like, so you don't have to even worry, you're like, well, I don't know how to do this. Well, if you know how to talk and you can just tell it what you want to automate, these systems will do them for you now. And I saw make.com and Zapier I don't know if we saw, I think it was Zapier released a beta of it now. The agent one, I think it was Zapier, but one of them released see, they have chatbots now and agents. So what agent will do, will walk you through the process of actually building these workflows for you, okay? Just to show you a couple other ones, Cassidy is a newer one as well. Same thing, automation, they all kind of work the same. I say make.com and Zapier are the leading ones. And then if you're looking for an all-in-one system, is anyone familiar with Go High Level? So Go High Level, I think, is sort of the real base entry level of automation / CRM. So what Go High Level does, it's $97 a month. It gives you sort of that basic CRM / automation tool. Okay, so if you just want to build some quick automations, emails come in, you want to put people through sales funnels and that stuff, Go High Level is great, super easy to use, It doesn't have the robust system that Make has, but if you just want to I just want to dip my toes in the water of automation and / a CRM system, this is awesome. Like literally $97 a month. So you can't beat it, right? But it's not going to do all the stuff I talked about. It's more think about more of an inbound lead management tool, perfect for it. So if you're in sales and you need a tool beside you to help your sales, Go High Level is perfect for it, right? But if you're looking more from operations and marketing, then make.com or Zapier would probably make more sense for you guys, okay? A couple of things, and I'm happy to answer questions, is that I just put a little bit of a comparison for you when it comes to the three main ones. So Zapier best for simple business workflows. Make.com has a lot of flexibility. Again, N8N very tech savvy. You need to be a little more tech savvy. Ease of use, the first two are pretty easy to use. N8N is very advanced. AI integration is important for me. Make.com I feel is the best because it has, you saw all the options, like 3,000 integrations it has into it. I mean, like, and then they all have freemium models. You can log in today and start using Make.com today and you don't get charged. But as the more you start, I think it gives you like a limit of how many you can do in a month, and then they're going to start charging. But if you're just playing around and doing some basic stuff, I don't know, like I ran it for free for a long time because I just did some basic stuff. I didn't have that. Not that I have 10,000 emails coming in, right? So you can actually do some free stuff into those. And then what do you need to do to build your workflow? Again, we talked about, it's going to pull them all up here. You need a trigger. So what's going to kick it off? You need whatever apps you want to be involved. So Calendly, Gmail, whatever you want, where you want AI to add value, and then do your automation. Okay. What I'm going to give you guys is some homework. So what I'm hoping you guys would do is pick one thing that's a real pain in the butt day to day for you. Just one thing, one repetitive task that you do. Think about one thing you love to get off your plate. Use one of these tools I showed you. Go into Make.com, go into Zapier, set up a free account, play around with it. If you need help setting up your automation, let me know. I want you to map out your trigger, whatever the trigger is, the action, AI, and the result. And then email me what you guys created. I want to see your automation. If you need help setting it up, just reach out to me. Happy to help you guys set it up, but just pick one. Pick one thing that you want to get off your plate. Email, come in, sales function, content creation. I don't care what it is. Don't pick more than one because you get overwhelmed. I do. And let's see, I'm happy to help you walk you through this. You guys will all have my contact information. Email it to me. And one thing I think we talked to Sachin, I think last week, I'd like to start sharing the stuff you guys do. Someone built a really cool GPT last time about hiking and Kamloops. He's not here today. So we want to start sharing. This is the cool thing about this room, right? Like, start sharing your guys's. Like, one thing I've learned was, as I've started doing this, is I learn from you people all the time, right? Because it's like, well, Rob, if you use this tool, or if you, I'm like, no, this is really cool. So let's start sharing these sort of things and help each other through it. So if you're building automations, you're building GPTs, share them with us. Like, I think it would be awesome for us to case study them and show them on our social channels and really show what you guys are doing with these sort of things, right? So I do have homework for you though. So I do want you guys to do this and share it with me if you can, right? Send it through email and just share. Okay. I do want to leave room for questions. I know Sachin wants to chat about a couple things as well. So this is my LinkedIn. For people that aren't connected with me on LinkedIn, it's the best way to reach me. So you can. I think most people here I'm connected with, but if not, feel free to connect with me. And I'm happy. It doesn't have to end here because I know we didn't really build automations today. I wanted to show you the tools and the theory behind it. So you guys have to take these home, set up your automations. I typically will say use Make.com to start because it's probably the easiest to start with, and then you can work up to the other one because, like I said, it's a free one. Okay. I do have. Anybody have any questions before I pass it back to? I guess Sachin has a few things you wanted to chat about. Yeah.
Just a quick. I always think of when I start getting into using something, how it can then be scaled as you grow. You know, if you start using Make.com and then it's going to get. See in the future it's going to get big enough to need N8N.
Yeah.
What does that look like in terms of then migrating to a different platform? Is it necessary? Is it something that it just automates by itself? I mean, what does that look like in being able to scale this?
Great question. That's a great question. So I would say most companies like Make.com and Zapier will grow with you for sure because they're adding all the time because they don't want to lose users for sure. But we're starting to see exactly what you said. You're going to be able to take your automation and Make.com, download it, and probably just load it up to N8N or any of the ones and build the automation because that's the big change over the last few months is now. It's funny because these workshops, it's like I need to show you how to build a workflow. Well, guess what? These tools just talk to it and it builds a workflow now, right? Like, so I think that's where it's come a long way. So I wouldn't necessarily worry about today about, well, where am I going to be in 3 years from now? Because most people just get stalled and don't do it. Just start with a simple automation. And then by the time you all grow it, I guarantee you'll be able to just take it and put it into any platform you want because it's kind of happening already. today, right? So these two are advancing way faster than we can keep up. Like I've heard like they're putting $1 billion a day into these, like combined into AI, right? Way more. Like these things went out fast and furious. Like literally every you could post, we could do a post on LinkedIn about look at new, right? So when worry, I think Make.com Zapier will support most businesses, even enterprise level, right? So NNN is more of like if you really want to get robust into sort of the customization, you can even now are running those locally. Like they're running them on their server. Like we don't have businesses at enterprise level. Most of the business work are small and medium-sized businesses. About that. So, but that's a really good question. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
First of all, it's great presentation. Thank you for all the information. I was just curious to know, you did show a lot of tools.
Yeah.
Today, and you mentioned that like you also save a lot of time in your personal life. So what tool would be okay to invest? And now I am talking from completely different. I don't own a business yet.
Yeah.
More of like a personal investment on myself, so that
perfect.
Future.
Well, kudos for you to be here and actually doing that. First of all, that's awesome. For me, basically the basic tool for me is everyone should have a paid version of ChatGPT. I'm going to say a large language model. I'm a fan of ChatGPT, but if you're a Perplexity or a Claude, sure, whatever. Like I think a paid version of a large language model makes sense because it gives you a lot more bells and whistles. If you want to go into automation, Make.com, I would recommend. That's what I recommend. It's personal preference. Zapier does the exact same thing. I find Make.com easier to use for me personally, but from an automation point of view. And then the only other things I pay for personally is I have an image creation. I pay for Midjourney. That's the only 3 tools I pay for. The rest we have for work purposes. It's a little bit different, but personally, I use ChatGPT, I use Midjourney, and I use Make.com. So, I mean, a combination of those are probably like under $100 a month. Like if I can't invest $100 a month to myself, like, you know what I mean? Like for the time it saves me. So that's all. So I think it's easy for me to say, go get 30 tools, but you half the time you're not going to use them all. But again, for me, it's like whatever you're trying to accomplish as well. I told you what I do, but like I said, you might say I need something for, I'm starting a business, or I need it for, I don't know. I use ChatGPT yesterday. This is kind of cool to build a plan for me on like health and fitness. I said, ask me questions. This is what my goal is. Ask me a bunch of questions. Like, here's Rob, you need to do this today. You need to it literally became my personal trainer. And which is, again, whatever your use case is, that's where you can start it. But I would say a large language model, one automation tool, and if you do video, if you do like one other tool that does that, that's more than enough. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Is anyone going to go build their automation? Someone? Yeah. Okay. A couple people said yes. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. We have a few, and please share them. Like, please do share them. Okay. Like, I really encourage you to share them. And there's really good resources. You have amazing. That's the one thing I'll end with, because before Sachin comes in, is like big thank you to your guys' team for doing this stuff, because like communities aren't doing this. So you have really good resources here. Like Peter's amazing, Sachin, like just use these resources, really do tap into it, because you don't get these elsewhere, right? So kudos to you guys for doing this stuff, because it's awesome that they're bringing it to the community. Now you can come up and do your thing if you want, and I'll stick around if anyone has any questions. So do you want me to play the video now, Sachin? Just wait. Yeah. Okay.
Press right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Rob, for a wonderful session and great advice. And so we have come to the end of the 3 workshops of this series. We started with marketing, then custom GPT, and today automated workflows. So at Central Interior Business Accelerator, we call it CWAB. Our mandate and our mission is to create a growth ecosystem in Kamloops and the BC Interior. So we want you entrepreneurs and all nonprofits to grow up as a community, and we want to help you along your journey. So like this is the 3 workshop series. It is followed by a mentorship program. Then in the fall session, we'll have another workshop series. So these all are very much connected with your businesses. So we want to align our efforts with the journey and the growth of your businesses. so that the whole life cycle is covered and we can contribute wherever we can to the best of our capacity. So I like to share one video. So meet Sarah. She is the owner of My Broker Pro. She went for the mentorship program with Peter, and let's hear from her. It's a very short video. I wanted to.
We're here with Sarah Mathieu, talking about her involvement with the Discovery Foundation's Applied AI for Business and Education project. So, Sarah, before you started with the program, what were some of the most time-consuming tasks that were involved in your business?
I was working on a lot of copywriting, so back and forth, and I was already using AI to a limited potential, but a lot of copywriting, a lot of customer support, like manual, in person and video person, but a lot of back and forth with clients and even some of the AI tools as well.
How has that helped you increase your efficiencies and improve your workflows?
The first GPT that we worked on was actually new to me. I hadn't really known how to build a custom GPT yet, so the program showed me that, and I've been kind of obsessed with it ever since. But the first one we built was for customer support, so really entering the input data that we needed and making sure the output was the correct answer. And it's hard to say how many hours that would save us, but also just increase of efficiency for my team, that could be the first stop for our customers when they have a question, and it's, gets them 85–90% there with the correct answer, and then they have the live support if they need it. So it really did alleviate a lot of pressure off the team. But another one that we do have like numbers for is we write a lot of content on the marketing side of our company, and that could be up to, like, let's just say an example, like 16 blogs a month. And previously we were using AI, but we still had to do a lot of back and forth massaging what the output was. And after we created the custom GPT with the program's guidance, I was able to basically shave almost 50 hours a month.
Wow, 50 hours.
Incredible, honestly.
So that's how actually, the strategies turn into action and give some tangible benefits. 50 hours per month saving is huge for a small to medium enterprise, and if you go with the scale, it can convert into 20,000 or 30,000, depending on how fast you are growing or how big your business is. Now I'll move to the last part so that I don't take up much of your time, but only the relevant section I'll play.
Those who aren't adopting this technology.
What advice would you give to other business owners about the value of using these tools and engaging with a program like ours?
I often compare AI to, when I was younger and the computer was coming out. We were in this like really big technology curve where things were moving really fast, and now we're in that again with AI. So some people are adopting and others aren't, like you mentioned. However, I think it's crucial for every business to adopt it because, as you mentioned previously, there's hundreds of tools. So there's for sure one or two that go for specific businesses. However, a lot of people are, I say, allergic to change. I make fun of my husband often for that. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs, and when I show even my father some of these tools, he just can't believe it. But they're simpler than you think. They're built to help you. They're easy to integrate into your business if you have somebody to coach you, because it can be overwhelming. And not only the time savings, but as I mentioned, just like my time back so I could focus on the business.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today about your experience in the Discovery Foundation's Applied AI.
So each business has its own requirements. So we have been through the workshop. We know on high level, okay, these are the tools which we can use, but how to integrate them into your processes with each of the businesses. We need some kind of mentorship who can, go along with you, work with you, bring about the operational efficiency, create AI roadmaps for you. So for that, we have designed these mentorship sessions, and Julie will be sharing the detail of that session after this. Apart from that, I also wanted to talk to you about another thing from my experience. So there's a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins, if you must have read that. So there is a concept called flywheel. So that is something which, differentiate from great companies from the good companies. So it has to, your effort and your efficiency, your productivity has to increase day by day. And there has to be a proper roadmap. You have to be, vertically and horizontally integrated with the larger enterprises when we think from the perspective of a small to medium enterprise. Sometimes what happens, some small companies, when they are growing up, they go for certain tools, or at some point they have 20 different tools, 20 different legacy systems operating simultaneously, and the effect is more pronounced when they become a big enterprises, and it takes a toll on them. I'll give you example of HP. HP is a multi-billion-dollar company in revenues, and its profit is in couple of $1 million, I believe. It took 3 years to convert to cloud environment at that point of time. And once that transformation happened, it saved $100 million every year. So that is a great example to do it right from the word go. So sooner the better. Earlier you start, the greater it is going to be for your business. And lastly, I won't take your time. It's already 1 o'clock. I'll request you to fill up the survey and give us your feedback. I know it's a pain. Even I didn't used to fill up the surveys, but it's very important for us to understand your needs so that we can align our future workshops or all our mentorship programs so that they can benefit you more and they are more aligned with your needs. That's it. Thank you very much for coming, and we really appreciate, and we want to grow this community together. And as Rob mentioned, we'll try to work out, a common platform where you can share your learnings or your homeworks. And I really encourage, kindly do this exercise at home. Create one automation tool at least, and before you head on to mentorship program, you can go deeper into it. So thank you so much, and good afternoon once again.